Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe the best stories are the ones shared over a glass of wine or a cocktail. Each week, I sit down with women who've said yes to building something meaningful, often after years of putting everyone else first. We talk business, big dreams, and the mess in between. And of course, a few favorite drinks. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. What does it really mean to be seen? Not just on social media, but in your purpose, your presence, and your personal energy. In this episode, I sit down with powerhouse publicist and soulful storyteller, Rachel Van Dolsen. From building a successful PR agency in her 20s to rediscovering creativity through motherhood, Rachel shares how to lead with service, set energetic boundaries, and rewrite the script on visibility. Plus, we go delightfully woo. Yes, past life regression included. Grab your favorite cocktail or beverage and join us for this honest, heart-led conversation that will leave you thinking bigger about your story and your soul. Here is Rachel Van Dolsen. Hey, Rachel.
How are you? So nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you. Did I see that you're in Brooklyn?
I was in Brooklyn. I'm actually in Chappaqua, New York, so I'm just north of the city now. But I
Okay.
was in Brooklyn for about 15 years, but now I have two
Wonderful.
young children, so we
Oh.
moved in.
Yeah, it's a little bit nicer to be out of the city, I'm sure, with littles.
Definitely, yeah. But I miss the city. My brother's actually in my old apartment, which is nice. So we get to,
Oh, fun.
yeah,
I'm sure Brooklyn has a lot of things going on, and it's fun to get back and do some of those things.
exactly. Yeah. For work, I still go back. So it's fun.
Well, okay. So for my audience, our benefit, tell us what you do and give us a little bit about your background.
Of course. So I'm Rachel Van Dolsen. I started a PR firm called RVD Communications about, I think now like 12 or 13 years ago, a long time ago. I was in my 20s and I naively thought freelancing could then, it made sense to then take the jump to start my own agency, which actually was quite successful for many years. I think what I didn't quite realize is that I was building the plane while I was flying it and I was still very young. But no, I mean, I think we did wonderful work. I am still super close with many, many of my clients from that chapter and many of my team members. So, I'm really proud of all the work we did, but I actually sold the agency in late 2023, and now I'm back out on my own consulting. So my specialty is earned media, press relations, crisis comms, kind of the whole nine. But my real passion in this stage is focusing on entrepreneurs and emerging brands and really helping them find what makes them mediagenic. And kind of believing that in today's world, everyone should have a key differentiator. So it's kind of my job to help unlock it and then help get people the exposure that they deserve.
Wow, that's great. So you work primarily now with smaller brands or emerging, right? With young
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, emerging brands, it's kind of a mix. I mean, right now my clients range from like a fine artist who just wrote a book that's actually out today. Her name's Micah Clasper Torch, if anyone's listening, and is really, she's super, super talented and has built like a super engaged community of crafters online. And yeah, she's incredible. Also, I've worked with a relationship therapist. I work with a great infant formula called By Heart. I've done some work with Field, which is a online dating, but really interesting work. But yeah, it really runs the gamut. For me, it comes down to who I'm working with and the story that they're trying to tell. But yeah, it's been so fun to kind of be out on my own. And I just am very curious by nature. So
Mhm.
I like to kind of unlock these various challenges. And, in my, ideal world, I'm working directly with the founder. I really missed that as I scaled my agency. So I like kind of the intimacy of that relationship.
Wow. Very interesting too. I mean, you're working with a wide gamut of people, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I mean, I think, granted, I'm testing the model. So, I'm
Uh-huh.
about 6 months into the consulting after being running my own agency with a full team and lots of resources for many years. So I'm testing to see what makes the most sense. But it's been super fun. I mean, my specialty is, thought leadership for founders. And I do believe that a good publicist can cross categories. My passion really is like wellness. And as a mom, I do tend to work with a lot of people that are in the parenting and mom space now because it's just my life. But But yeah, it's been really, really fun and rewarding. So, I love working with people across all different walks of life.
Yeah. And it keeps things interesting, I'm sure, too.
Definitely. I mean, I think in PR, anyone who's worked in PR can agree no day is the same. And you really need to have a high tolerance for the unexpected. And not even just a high tolerance, like an enjoyment of the unexpected. So yeah, I think that aspect has been really fun and engaging. And yeah, now working directly with founders as well, like I'm able to set my own hours and have more flexibility with my kids too. So as I think about like my career, I'm glad that I was able to kind of do things, even if it was a little crazy of me to make a lot of those choices when I was in my like mid 20s, and work super, super hard and maybe dive potentially a little too far into work for a while there. But yeah, I'm just very grateful now for the flexibility.
And you mentioned a couple things earlier too about like flying the plane while you're building it. I think that's so true for many entrepreneurs. You don't know what you don't know yet. And really the action brings clarity. So it's great that you're taking those steps to, work with different types of people and different types of companies and doing all their, you know, whatever they need. So it helps you bring clarity to what you want to do next.
Exactly. And I mean, I know at the end of the day what I'm best at. So when I'm working with folks, before I take a contract, I always chat with them and make sure that my core expertise lines up with what they're looking for. So ideally that's, pitching folks to be, their like thought leadership pieces, op-eds, podcast outreach, things of that nature. So, really like zeroing in on what they want to do and make sure that that aligns with my expertise. And then also I'm a writer. I also write fiction on the side. So, I love like writing brand positioning and helping people like write pitch templates. I also train some of my clients to then execute PR on their own. I think overall, PR can feel very black box, like a publicist has their Rolodex and it's a secret. It's like a secret, and no one, and they don't tell their clients who they're pitching. It can be a little bit opaque. So I'm really trying to add more transparency there, and kind of fill a gap I saw while running my agency.
Wow. So you're doing the actual reach out for your clients as well?
Typically, I'm starting the reach out. So most of my
Mm.
my current like model is a 3 or 4 month sprint. So I basically do the strategy, work with them. Again, I'm trying to show them what I'm doing so that they, are educated on PR, and are able to like make more informed decisions about how they want to approach it moving forward. But strategy, list building, all of that good stuff up front. And then I do start the outreach typically for my clients. I genuinely love doing it. So and I think I'm good at it. So I think it's fun. I know a lot of veteran publicists don't actually like still doing the little like popping into people's inboxes, the outreach, but I really enjoy it. So yeah, so I start it and then typically I'll pass that on to somebody on their internal team or help them find an agency or help them find their home. I don't, because of my model, I like to kind of help empower the next people to take it on based on my learnings. But yeah, I mean, if people do want me to stay on, I have a white glove rate as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think for a lot of entrepreneurs on the other side, the ones that you're helping, we wear so many hats, right?
Yeah.
Especially as women and as entrepreneurs, all of it, you've got your mom hat, you got your, all of these things, the marketing, what you're actually doing to serve your clients, and then trying to get it out there and let people know about it. Keeping all of those balls in the air is really difficult, I think, for a lot of people. And some of it's not comfortable.
I think that's so true. And I think so many, I mean, I saw this in my own journey founding my agency. I did almost no PR for myself, which I'm trying to work on now, hence us being here. But I think what it is, you tend to, there's a million fires that you have to put out every single day. So,
Hmm.
self-promotion can feel uncomfortable. It can feel icky for some people. It's just not natural, even if you are extroverted. I think it can still just feel strange. So honestly, hiring an expert is a really great way to do it. What I'll say though is that you have to find the right fit, someone who you align on values, who understands actually what you're looking for, who will be realistic with you, and tell you the truth. And I really think that transparency and honesty is what sets a good publicist and marketing person in general apart. But yeah, I mean, I think I hope it's a service to clients. And I do know that a lot of the founders I'm working with have gotten a lot of value out of it. And I think they see now how PR can propel other aspects of their business and help level up other opportunities, find new customers. Yeah. So the goal is, I really try to lead with like a servant leader mindset.
That's very cool. I think most of my listeners are female entrepreneurs and in that same mindset, that same value where, we're really just trying to serve others. And how can we do that best? And sometimes that means, outsourcing some of these things or, partnering with someone like you where when you're aligned, it makes it so much easier. You have to know that your client's on a really, I would think, a high level to be able to translate what they're trying to do for their people and try to get the word out, to make them visible, to help them be seen so that they can serve more people and create a greater impact.
Exactly. And I think a lot of what and I'm not certainly not the only person who does this, but a good publicist will do is spend the first, few weeks really getting to know the client and understanding. I think the number one thing is what makes them different from others in their field, like what
Mm.
the core differentiator is. So not necessarily like what they're not, but what they are. And I think that that's people sometimes have a tendency to be like, well, I'm not this. But what are you? And what are you bringing? And what is your why that's getting you up every day? Because being an entrepreneur is, as many of us know, including your listeners, not easy. So, why are you doing this? And, who are you trying to reach? And then we can back into a strategy once we really understand that why. But yeah, I think answering those questions, even if you don't have a publicist, I think it'll help in every aspect of you, the way you communicate your story.
Absolutely. And the direction you take your company too, really.
Yes. And that's actually such a good point. I mean, I found in my career when I was, not, I don't want to say aimless, but there were periods where I didn't have a long-term plan because I was so mired in the day to day and just so busy,
Mm. Mhm.
which I think a lot of people can relate to.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think during those periods though, I sometimes would find myself losing that inner compass. So I would say yes to things that maybe weren't the right opportunities, even though on paper maybe they looked right, like
Mhm.
lucrative, well-connected, accounts or whatever, or like, a hire internally. And I think when you kind of lose touch with your gut and your real like instinct, and maybe like divine feminine or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we want to go woo woo, but I think when you lose it can be really hard. I mean, and you can end up walking down roads that bring you further away from that initial why. So yeah, anyway, I think it's helpful. It's been helpful for me as I've gotten older to kind of realize that and realize when I'm saying yes to things, I'm also saying no to other things. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that definitely gets easier as you get older. It's easier to say no to things that don't align or that aren't helping you guide towards your purpose to serve other people or to, that burning desire that if you wake up every morning knowing what you're doing or not what you're doing, but who you're serving and what's important. And yeah, that helps so much to be able to say no to the things that don't align.
100%. Yeah. And I think it can be, everyone loses their way at periods or maybe ends up
Oh, sure.
walking roads. That's normal. But I think being able to diagnose that before you go too far away from your purpose, will like, mitigate burnout. It'll make everything, you'll end up being able to have a more sustainable career and life. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and I had a former business coach who really like drove that home, like sustainability in business and not sustainability that we think of in terms of, ecologically, although I'm pro that as
That's
well.
good too. Yeah.
That's very good. But more just like knowing that your career is a long game.
Hmm.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you have to make sure that you're set up to like actually keep it going and keep that fire and that excitement. And, if you're burning the candle at both ends or you're losing touch with why you started, it's never going to be the right thing, I don't think.
Hmm. Right. Absolutely. Women, I think in general, are we want to please people, so it's hard to say no. We want to say yes because, we want to help people. We want to be supportive, and oftentimes that comes at an expense.
100%. Yeah. Boundaries. I mean, and I
Yeah.
still am imperfect. I'm still very imperfect with boundaries, but I'm
Oh,
really working on it. And I think,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
It's a learning process.
it all is, right? Like,
Always. Yeah.
but yeah, it's absolutely boundaries. It's the only way. And you can
Uh-huh.
have boundaries in a kind way. They don't
Yes, absolutely.
have to be mean boundaries. They're like, can be
No,
positive boundaries.
absolutely. And I tell people too, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain yourself
Yes.
most of the time anyway.
Yes. I mean, God, I should put that on like a post-it note on my
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah. It's okay to say no,
It is.
period.
No, I love that. I love that. And yeah, I mean, I feel like your work is so similar. Like you're all about bringing people together and, really empowering female entrepreneurs and giving in community. So yeah, I think it's just so important. And also, I guess like knowing that you have like-minded people you can talk to about this stuff, who can give advice. And, there isn't necessarily like a, what can I gain from giving somebody advice,
Hmm.
which can feel like kind of icky. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's more fun with a friend
Yes, yes. I
or
mean,
several.
yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing I will say I do miss about having a larger team is that I do like
Oh,
that camaraderie. But yeah, I do have lots of friends in the industry, so I still have it. But that is the really nice thing about working with the team. It's like the ability to laugh and be in that chaos
yeah.
together is really bonding.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing for entrepreneurs. I think we often are solopreneurs, or we have a very small team, or the people that we work with are not necessarily there all the time or
Yeah,
very often. So yeah, it's really great to have a community of women that you can reach out to or that you can support and share ideas and a cocktail and just
yes.
have fun together.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like it's so easy to stay, especially like to when you're on LinkedIn or social media and you're seeing all of these highlight reels of people's, accomplishments. It can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. This person has this person has that. And I think once you really like sit down with people, you realize that everyone has their highs and their lows, their middles. And most of us are really in the middle most of the time. And, I think what it is like it makes you feel a lot better about your own situation and you realize how lucky you really are when you kind of are with other people and understand that like you're certainly not the only one who's tackled some of these problems and asking for help is a strength, not a weakness.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you're not alone. Somebody else has gone through it. And it's really those lows where we learn the most.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't true because it's hard, but
I know.
it's so, so true. I mean, all of like the setbacks or the things that I would say have been the hardest things that have happened to me in my life professionally and personally have been like by far the biggest growing periods, like massive growth spurts. So, I mean, I think in the ideal world, when you're in it, you can see that, but sometimes it can be hard.
Mm.
But yeah, if
Oh, it
any,
takes so long.
yeah,
Yeah, it takes a while to, once you're out of it, then you can look back and go, oh, yeah, okay. That's something I would have maybe changed or not
it,
gone through or done differently.
yeah, but you really like you have to kind of go through.
Hmm.
The only way out is through. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun though. I mean, again, it's like ideally we realize that all of these like, try to have perspective and realize that all of these things are temporary. Yeah, one thing I used to sometimes like when I was in my workaholic mode, I would like spin out over an email or like something, and like one of my colleagues would always say like, "Is this an email you're going to even remember in a week, in 6 weeks, in
Mm,
a month, in a year?" And you're kind of like, "Of course not."
yeah.
Like, who cares? I mean, of course you have to take things seriously and do your best work, but putting it into perspective and like, I'm not even going to remember this happened in a month. So it truly like, it kind of like defangs it.
That's great advice. Always. Yeah. For sure. Like think about, is this thing that has so bugged me today or so hurt my feelings or so that I've agonized over, is that going to matter in 5 years, 1 year, tomorrow? Thinking about
Exactly.
those.
Exactly. Yeah. It like really has helped, I think, as like a practice to remember, like, okay, like I don't need to get upset. I don't, because my energy matters too. Like if I then get
Oh,
upset, then if I respond in fight or flight mode, then that's going to escalate the situation. I'm also going to not show up as my best self with my family or my friends, whoever I'm seeing that day. That's going to add a trickle effect into their energy in their life. So it like you realize that the way you're showing up and the energy you're bringing to these interactions actually like impacts other people. And as someone you mentioned people pleasing who does have a people pleasing background, I think that that also can help because it's like it's actually selfless to take care of yourself.
That's right. You have to fill your cup, right?
Yes, yes. So yeah, I think that's one of the my major learnings in my career.
Mm,
It's like take care of yourself because if you're showing up a mess, you're going to actually do more harm than good to the people around you
yeah.
if you're quote quote successful on paper.
Well, absolutely. And it's going to affect you long term too. I mean, or can if you
Oh yeah.
stay in that energy. You have to really be, I think, judicious and cautious with your energy and make sure that you're doing things that light you up. And if you're feeling a little about something or not quite right, do some things to make yourself feel better, like get out in the sun or feel your feet on the ground, do some of those grounding kind of things that remind you that, oh no, it's just, this is temporary. It's okay. I'm not going to let this get me down. I can't serve my people if I'm in this space. So that, all those little things.
100%. Yeah, for me, it's like I always laugh with my husband about this. I'm like, oh, going to the gym really does work, or like working out really.
Dang
Like,
it.
I do like to exercise. I've trained myself to like it, but like I'm
Uh-huh.
in a bad mood and I go exercise. I'm like, oh, I do feel better. Like this actually does help.
Yeah.
And you have to find your own toolkit, like whatever that is, or going to get
Right.
a cure, going for a walk, standing on grass, to your point. Like it can be something small, but like these things do work. And so,
Mhm.
sometimes it can be very easy to go into like, I have no time, I have no this, I have no space,
Oh, sure.
the excuses. And
Hmm.
like when you have a toolkit that's like can take 1 minute, 30 seconds, or up to like an hour, a day, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Yeah, as a mom, I've definitely learned that. Like 5 minutes is great. I can do, I can ground.
Right, right. Well, and that's a choice too, right? To keep ourselves busy or to keep ourselves in that energy is also a choice to be okay. I don't want to feel good, I guess. So,
Yeah, that's exactly, exactly. Yeah,
yeah, it's hard to kind of realize that a lot of this stuff is not happening to us.
it's
We
not.
can choose. Yeah.
Yeah, we really get to dictate our full reality. So yeah, it's wild, but yeah, it's I think both it's empowering and for some people I think very scary when you say that to them like, well, actually, what if you tried this? What if you tried
Hmm.
doing something differently? Some people really want to stay in that. They get excited or not excited. They get, I guess, like addicted to the victimhood. And hey, I've seen it myself, so no judgment. But I think
Yeah.
when you realize that, you really can pull yourself, like it's up to you to pull yourself out and you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything flows a lot easier.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, some people really like drama,
Yes, they do.
Real Housewives or, all that kind of energy. Mhm.
Yes, yes. I like I would prefer the least dramatic life. Like
Yeah.
I can't fathom, like I can't handle yelling. I can't handle
Yeah.
but it is fun to watch on TV. I'll give that. It's entertainment. I'm not like a housewife watcher, but I have in the past, and I understand it's entertaining. And I also read I read fantasy romance. I read crazy stuff too. So you have to find you have to find your whatever your like escapism is.
Right. Oh, that's a fun thing. Okay, so novels. What other things do you like to do?
Yeah, so I do a lot of reading. So I'm actually writing a fantasy book right now. So that's my other side hustle.
That's fun.
Which is really fun. That's been like a fun side project. I was an English major and I always have like loved creative writing, but kind of lost track of it when my career kind of took off. So it's been exciting to kind of like go back to that on the side. And I do love to read. I read a ton. I read like every night before bed for as long as I can stay awake. I do fall asleep. I do fall asleep with the Kindle pretty much every night on me. And then yeah, I mean I feel like I also historically I know that you tend to be like one of your main things is bringing people together over like wine or a cocktail, and I like always very much like I love a dirty martini. I
Oh, my girl.
yeah, love. Got into natural wine a lot. Now I'm actually taking a drinking hiatus, but I do love, this is my side for anyone maybe taking a break from alcohol. I love CANN. It's a low dose THC and CBD. It's like a microdose, and they're like seltzers,
Oh,
really great. Anyway, so that's my
haven't
festive.
seen those.
Yeah, that's my festive non-alcoholic drink, but does give you a little buzz. So if you're
Okay.
great at that. Yeah, and I mean, I love going to the movies, although I do that less now that I have kids. Like I
Mm.
love movie theater. Tom Cruise would be my big fan. I know
Oh,
he's movie theater. But yeah, I love going to the movies. I'm trying to think what else. Walking, exercising, and then I
yeah.
have two very young kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I think the other thing that we do as a family is just like put on music and dance around the house like idiots. But yeah, I think it could be good to release the energy. A lot of dancing.
Sorry, I muted myself so I could cough and forgot to unmute. That sounds like so much fun though, dancing with your kids, like just dancing around the house.
Dancing around the house. Yeah, I think for anyone who has young children or babysits, like music can cure a lot of problems. If there's a meltdown,
Oh,
I'll be
yeah.
like, so what do we want to listen to? I have them into Prince right now, which I'm very proud of.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
Yes.
We'll see. I mean, then we also have, of course, like the Disney songs and
Oh,
Trolls
yeah.
is also very popular.
That's cool. You said 4 and 1.
Yeah, 4 and 1, almost two.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Our grandbabies are 7, 5, and 1.5. So yeah, very close to yours. So yeah, so fun.
It's so fun. I mean, it's crazy, but it's so fun. And yeah,
Yeah.
you've been through it and now are doing it again. I
Well, and what's fun too to watch kids, you see them play and you realize that, wow, they're so creative. And what happened to my creativity? I mean, you think about how easy and free it is for them to just find joy in anything.
100%. I mean, that's fully been my experience. I love that you said that. I mean, I watching my daughter's very, very imaginative and she comes up with these elaborate stories and personas and names. And she's the older one, she's 4, and her name's
Uh-huh.
and I really do think that watching her kind of inspired me to bring back some of that storytelling. And I honestly think it might be why I'm writing fiction again. I think just like realizing, oh wait, like that's a part of myself that I sort of thought wasn't like I couldn't monetize or whatever.
It's not worthy anymore because it's just
Exactly.
play.
Exactly. And I think like you realize actually no, like that might be the purest part of who I am. And even
Mhm.
if it's just for fun, who cares? Like if that makes you a
Right.
happier, more enriched person. Yeah. So I completely agree. It really does like open your eyes to that natural play.
Yeah. Yeah. If we can keep ourselves in that playful, creative mode, it lights us up and that's just part of that energy again. It just really perpetuates itself.
Totally. Yeah, I know a lot of friends who, they'll get into painting or they'll get like, I feel like that, now this is maybe a millennial, I'm a millennial, maybe a millennial generation, but we go big on our hobbies. So I think like I have a lot of friends who are like going really deep into rabbit holes of various hobbies. And I think it's great.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think I love hobby culture.
I think that's great too. Yeah, I think we have to keep that beginner mindset or that playful creative side of us engaged in trying new things because the older you get, it just feels more it takes a little bit more to get out of your comfort zone or to feel like, okay, I got to get up and do something. Or, some of my friends are like, no, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to try. And that's that breaks my heart sometimes. There are so many
I
fun things out there.
I agree. And even there's certainly not going to hurt. There's no harm in trying, I think, to your
Right.
like go out there and try. And if it doesn't go well, you don't have to do it again. It's okay.
Yeah. Try something else.
Try something else. Like I think if you go in with that, like nobody's expecting you to be an expert. Like, just be honest.
Exactly.
It's okay if you're not good at something. And I think that's actually another thing that I'm trying to get more comfortable with is, I think as like a high achiever growing up and someone who like had a pretty intense career for a long time, like I'm very used to trying to like project like competence and, all that. And I think as a woman, it's a pretty universal female thing as well. yeah, so I think like it's nice to sometimes just be like, no, I'm actually not very good at this, but I love it. um,
Yeah.
like I can't craft at all. I can't draw. I can barely draw a stick figure, but I'm happy to draw with my kids. Like it's fun. And you know, I'm sure as they get older, they'll critique my work. That's
Ah,
okay. But
it's their job.
I think it can be freeing to be bad at things.
Oh, absolutely. And nobody's good at something right out of the gate,
No, no,
ever. Yeah.
no.
So just go have fun with it. And if you like doing it and doodling around, then fine. Try something else if you don't.
Exactly. I love that. I think that's a good motto. We should all this can be the challenge of today,
Oh
going out
yeah.
and finding a new thing that I'm
Homework. I
bad at.
love it.
Try. Yeah. Well, I'll take it. Anyone else can if they want. No, no
Yes, yes.
pressure.
Our gentle nudge to go try something new today.
I love it. I love a challenge.
Yeah, me too. Well, and that's kind of fun too to do a challenge together with your friends or
Definitely the
mm,
accountability partner is key.
yes, accountability. That's so big.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
easy to,
know.
I hate to say this almost. It's easier to let ourselves down. And how sad is that? If I want to do something and I tell myself I'm going to do it and then don't, that's a lie to myself. And that's not good.
It's not. And I mean, so I used to talk about this thing called the trust battery, which is like basically you have to
Mm,
keep it charged with the people in your life, colleagues, friends, family. You know, basically it's just doing what you say you're going to do.
integrity.
Integrity, exactly. And I love that, but I think what I realized, I think at the time I was using it, I didn't realize that I wasn't keeping it charged for myself. So I was keeping it charged
Mm,
for everybody else. I mean, I'm sure people
mhm.
have have stories of when I haven't kept it perfectly charged, and
Oh,
I'm
geez.
human. Um, so sorry if anyone's listening and they're like, "Hey, Rachel, once you said you would do this and you didn't." But yeah, I feel like I absolutely was not keeping my own promises to myself. And that's like can be so, you know, you can make yourself sick, it can turn really bad. So yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like if you say having an accountability partner is helpful because often the first person we let down is ourselves. But yeah, I'm trying to learn, as I'm sure many of your listeners are,
Oh, yeah.
to put myself at the same level as others.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and we deserve that. We deserve that level of integrity with ourselves. And it's, how you do one thing is how you do everything, kind of. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not sure I buy into that 100%, but you know, thinking about how you react to yourself, how you treat yourself, how you view yourself, you can't be fully in service of others if you're not taking care of yourself and being in integrity with your own promises as well.
definitely. I agree 100%. I read this book by Martha Beck. It's called The Way of Integrity.
Mm,
That's what you using the word reminded me. It's a great book. But it's all about kind of the idea of if you're living out of integrity, so many different things will start to go wrong. And it's really like, it's for everybody around you that you have to get back into integrity, in addition to for yourself, of course, and finding your true calling, the right people, surrounding yourself with the right people, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like the people that you're actually hurting everyone around you even more if you're out of integrity. So yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
yeah. Well, and I feel like if there's something that's not quite in sync, it can affect your body too, especially like your body will start to tell you, you'll get signs that something isn't right. And it
Totally.
just, yeah, it kind of compounds on itself, I think.
I agree. For me, it was like I wasn't sleeping well. I was like,
Hmm.
whirling mind. And I come from a family of overthinkers, so it's not genetic as well. But
Preach.
but yeah, and many of us do. But yeah, I mean, and listen to those signs. Don't just ignore them. But yeah, it's easier said than done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and okay, not to get too woo woo, but a lot of it is from past trauma,
Yes,
unresolved issues from long, long ago, possibly.
totally. Now you're going very much into this is like a current passion of mine. So I
I
think
love it.
trauma, and I also, so people are going to think I'm a loon, but I did a recent past life regression session
Oh, wow.
which was fascinating.
Uh
Um,
huh.
and I'm still not 100% sure my belief system when it comes to reincarnation or
Uh
past,
huh.
but regardless, it was an extremely powerful experience that I would highly recommend to people. And it really, like, at the core, kind of my learning was that, like, there's so much more going on than we even realize within our consciousness, the energy we've picked up from our own life experiences, potentially from past life experiences. And I think being able to release that and just understand, okay, like it's not my fault, it's not mine to carry anymore. It's over. We have
Mm.
the present and the future to look forward to can be so freeing. And yeah, to realize like none of this is your fault. We all have experiences. So yeah, but I'm going very woo-woo, sorry.
No, I love that. Okay. So if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit more about like, how did it go? How did you find
Yeah, of
this?
course.
Yeah.
Sorry for guiding us here, but I know this is not
No, I
something that
love,
I want to talk about,
I
but
think
no,
this is fascinating. I
yeah,
think people are curious about this stuff and just, if they don't feel like it's for them or they don't believe in it, it's just, it's interesting to hear and to learn about, I mean, it's one of those things that people are maybe curious about and just want to explore or dip a toe in.
for sure. So that, I mean, that's kind of my phase of it right now too. So basically for me, I was working with a woman who's like a naturopath. She took my hormones, various tests, like, gave me some new supplements that kind of were perfectly aligned with what I needed. And in that process, because I said I had brain fog, I had all these other things that were going on.
Mm,
And
mhm,
what we kind of realized is a lot of it wasn't really physical. The markers were really strong. So she was like, I think you should explore like Reiki healing or energy. It sounds like it might be overthinking and stuff that's kind of mental, candidly.
mhm.
So, which was, I very much was on the same page as her. I don't want to make it sound like she was like, you're actually just crazy. But no, but it was like in a very loving way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started seeing this woman for Reiki sessions, which I found really powerful as well to kind of like break up, my energy, get me more balanced. I was holding a lot on my right side, which is more of your masculine, kind of like the do.
Mm,
Anyway, so that same woman referred me to past life regression, and said that it might be something I'd wanted to try. And I was just kind of drawn to it. I was like, sure, I'd love to try it. And I did this session and it was super powerful. I mean, I like was again, I'm going to sound a little loony, but I was on
It's okay.
I was on a ship from London to the US in the early 1800s. I
Oh,
was
wow.
taking care of my little sister because my mother had passed away. Then I got married, whatever. It was a really kind of wild life.
Sounds so vivid.
Yeah, it was very, very, very vivid, a lot of visuals. Um,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I mean, it was all coming from me. She was just asking me questions that I was answering. And
Mhm.
she basically like puts you in a guided meditation into like a kind of like low level hypnotic trance, but you're still in the room. It was vivid and really powerful. And, then, as tougher things came up, she kind of helped me process them. And then yeah, and then we kind of talked about the experience, a bit of like a grounding conversation. She sent me like full notes from the session as
Mm.
well. I'm definitely going to do it again. But apparently, I mean, people who really believe in this stuff, which again, like I'm now a new believer, but I'm still in my early stages. I think people really believe that a lot of what we experience in our bodies, some people have had shoulder pain and find out in a past life they had something happen, again, who knows whether this is real or imagined, but the main thing is there's tons of like scientific research backing up that these sessions actually do work and cure people. So whether they believe in it or not kind of is a moot
Mhm.
point. What matters is it works. So anyway, I think it's a lot of psychotherapists can do this work and then also more kind of like independent woo-woo practitioners. But I think it's important to obviously vet who you're working with. But yeah, I had a very like
Mhm.
supportive powerful experience.
That's so cool. I've heard other people talk about like trauma from your ancestors. So like maybe your mother or might have had something happen to her and that translated into you. And it it's just fascinating to me to think about all of those, how we carry forward. Well, and you can see in habits, even like what my parents did in front of me, I pick up and I'm passing, for better or for worse, passing that on to our children and grandchildren. And yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. No, and I think it's so true because ultimately it's energy more than anything. So
Right.
yeah, it's really just energy. Like we're energy, everyone is energy, everything is energy.
Yep.
So, I think that's kind of how I've come down on this because I I tend to be a pretty rational person. So I'm like, how
Hmm.
do I exactly like put this in a box or like say what I believe
Right.
now?
Right.
I don't think that matters though. What it is like it's kind of comes back to what you were talking about before. It's the energy you're showing up with.
Hmm.
That's the energy that you're then transmitting to those around you, passing down to your children or friends or family, colleagues. And I think like really asking the question, like, what do I want to bring when I show up into a room and who, like, what do I want people to feel? How do I want to feel myself? Um,
Yeah.
is so important. And yeah, actually one thing we talked a lot about boundaries. My past life woman who she kind of had no boundaries. She was very much like a giver, took on a lot of roles,
Mm.
very much like a caretaker, very maternal. And I think a lot of that spoke to me in my life now. And, her big thing is your job now is to take care of yourself so that you can nourish yourself. And that way you can better nourish others. You can break the cycle of like self sacrifice and martyrdom. But yeah, and I think one thing she also said that I think might be helpful to others is when you're going into a conversation or a room that maybe you're intimidated by or someone that you don't particularly like for whatever reason, kind of picture yourself shrouded in like a bright light and that no bad energy can penetrate, that you're protected, that your energy is your energy and nothing they say or do can lower your frequency. And I've used it with success since. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I know it's again
I
very
love it.
woo, but I think it's great.
No, that's fantastic. I think that's great. That's a tool that you can, take on and think about, okay, I know that I can protect my energy and I don't have to take on somebody else's bad juju or bad, if they're in a bad mood, I don't have to be in a bad mood. I don't have to mirror
Exactly.
that.
I don't have to mirror that.
Mhm.
And who knows? And feeling empathy too. Like we don't know why
Mhm.
somebody's acting how they're acting. They may have like a
Right.
reason for it. We don't know what other people are carrying. Um, and all of the past lives they might have as well.
Right.
So,
Right.
so it's just, yeah, I think trying to have empathy, but also really protect yourself at the same time. Just
Mhm.
because you're empathetic doesn't mean you have to then suck everybody's energy into you.
Right. Right. When I get deeper into coaching some clients, one of the things that I also talk about is we are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul.
Yes.
So it's, to think about it's just a body, you know, and our future selves. Yeah. Our future selves, I think already know what's possible and are trying to help us get that positive, that beautiful future instead of the one that scares us.
Exactly. And, energy goes where attention flows, I think it is the saying.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, like if you are thinking constantly about the worst case scenarios and,
Oh,
the doom scrolling, all of that,
you're
um,
ordering it up.
you're ordering it up. And, I know that's again easier said than done, and nobody's
Mhm.
perfect in this, but
Yep.
yeah, the more you can try to like your mindset really does matter. And yeah, I've learned this the hard way myself with my own burnout.
Mhm.
So but yeah, I love that, you're just a soul with the body. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, the work that I've been doing on the past life stuff full like really cemented that for me that like it's not
Wow.
yeah, your body is just like it's powerful and wonderful. You want to take care of it, but it's not you.
Right. Right. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's so important to remember that you can control, well, can't control, but you can choose to be positive. You can choose your mindset. You can choose your energy and you don't have to be focused on what might happen wrong. How about instead ask a better question? What's the possibility?
Yeah,
What do I
exactly.
want?
And the pause too. Like this, I've learned the hard way also through coaching,
Mm.
through all other things. But yeah, like I tend to be very like I need to handle it immediately. Check it off the to-do list, done. And often if you pause even for 5 minutes, you'll just have such a more measured response. And actually be able to see the what's the possibility, not just the negative,
Hmm.
if it's a tough situation. And yeah, I mean, also like giving yourself time to make a decision. You don't have to say yes or no. You can say, let me think about it. That's one that
Hmm.
I've really been practicing as well, is the, oh, let me think about that and get back to you. Which
Hmm.
like is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Oh, fascinating. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you were willing to talk to us about that because that was really super fun to hear. And
of course.
I was curious and I'm grateful that you openly shared that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to. And yeah, if anyone's interested in like some of the science aspect, there's a really cool book I just listened to by like a Yale educated psychotherapist named Brian L. Weiss. And he wrote the book Many Lives, Many Masters. There's incredible research and like real case, like, studies backing up the work. So yeah, that to me, I listened to it the day after I did my experience, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually so glad I did my experience first, because I kind of went in a little
Oh.
bit of a naysayer, and then now I'm like, oh, I'm all in.
It's great to know that there is science behind it so that you're not just, oh, poo-pooing it or, fully agreeing with it if you don't know.
Yeah, I had my mom listen to it because I told her about the experience, and she is open-minded, but I think she definitely was like, oh boy.
A little bit of skepticism
A
in there
little bit of
too.
skepticism, but I had her listen to it, and even she loved it. So, it's
Okay.
great if for the non-believers. Of
Okay. Well, thanks for that too.
course.
So, okay, we're nearing the end of our hour here. And you had mentioned earlier that you used to like a good dirty martini.
Yes, yes. So that
Mm.
would probably be my favorite if I had to give, a cocktail of choice.
Uh-huh.
I was a gin, and still, I mean, gin would be my favorite, although a nice chilled vodka as well, great too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would always be my go-to after like a very long day or after like a big
Mm.
accomplishment. But yeah, definitely a dirty martini girl. Lots of olives, very
Yes.
dirty. Um,
Filthy.
Filthy, exactly, filthy, which is now very in vogue. So I'm glad, because
Huh?
I've been like always, I'm like, pour the whole olive, all of the olive in.
Salty. Just get it all salty.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, that's probably my go-to. And then, I've been drinking these cans, which are really, really
Uh-huh.
good. CANN. So highly recommend
Okay.
as well,
Interesting.
to add to the rotation.
Okay, cool. Getting back to gin just a sec. Do you have a favorite gin?
So that's a good question. I think my favorite is Green Hook, which
Oh,
is made in Brooklyn. But yeah, it's delicious. I also really
uh-huh.
like this 1908 gin by Empress. It's purple, which is really cool.
Mm,
Like the color is beautiful. It's an indigo color, but it still tastes like gin. Um,
uh-huh.
that's one of my favorites as well.
My husband and I prefer Bombay.
It's great.
Yeah. Hendrix is nice too. I like that one.
It's really good too. There's a lot of good botanicals in that. But yeah, I love gin.
Yeah.
I think gin culture in the UK is like they really know. They know what they're doing there.
I need to visit.
I know you need to do,
It's a
you should
field trip.
plan. You should
I
do it.
know.
It's definitely, I feel like it's a business expense for sure, for sure.
Absolutely. I like the way you think.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I don't
Yes. Okay, so what's a favorite memory with girlfriends sharing drinks?
Yeah, so I did for my this was for my sister's birthday, actually, 2 years ago, right after my son was born. I had a 1-month-old son. We did an at-home omakase sushi dinner, which
Oh,
was really cool. So it's this company called Tomakase. They're based in New York. So if you're in New York, highly recommend. But they'll come to your house with a sushi chef and make like a full
wow.
sushi multi-course omakase experience. It's so fun. And since I had a 1-month-old, it was like ideal because I couldn't really leave the house.
You're right.
Um, and we actually had sake, so I also really enjoy sake. And we had sake from Brooklyn Kura, which is a brewery in Brooklyn as well that we represented for many, many years. And they do amazing, amazing work. And yeah, so that was, craft sake paired with omakase. So that was going to be my memory, because I think that was like a very special one that was both a food and a booze.
Mhm. Well, and
Um,
that's the perfect combo, right? I mean, to have friends over with a good meal and some drinks and just enjoy each other's company and create a new experience.
Exactly. And I mean, it doesn't have to be as exciting as that. I mean, even some of my
Mhm.
other best memories are just like sharing a bottle of wine with my best friend. Like,
Out on the patio and kicking
exactly. Like,
back.
yeah, and just like talking for a million hours.
Yes.
It's like so refreshing and nice to, yeah, I feel like sometimes you we schedule so much of our lives that some of that like free time feels indulgent, and it's not. Like, we're supposed to be connecting with people.
Right, right. Oh gosh, that's so important.
Yeah, I mean, that's what your work is. So it's great. I
Mhm.
think what you're doing is awesome. It's bringing
Oh, thank you.
people together, which is really ultimately what it's about.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Rachel, what's something that is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would love to share?
No, this was great. Thank you so much, Penny. I know we covered so much.
We
I didn't
did. We went there.
Yeah, we did. I love it. But I'm at rachelvandolsen.com. If you want to check out my site, my LinkedIn is where most of my like professional stuff is, but feel free to reach out. I'm working with, a bunch of entrepreneurs. I have a busy schedule for the summer, but I have some openings in the fall. And yeah, I mean, I think my biggest advice to female entrepreneurs is like, you're certainly not in this alone, as we said. So like, remember to like ask for help, to look out for a great coach, build a support network for yourself, because it can feel super scary and lonely if you let it. But if you let people in, they'll really surprise you, I think. And yeah, I at least found that
Absolutely.
in my life. Like, the more you are vulnerable and ask for help, the more amazing things happen.
Absolutely. Nothing bad can come from it. It's all good.
100%. Yeah, it really is. It's all upside if you ask for help, really.
I
As someone
believe that
as
too.
someone who really naturally does not like asking for help, I've learned it
Hmm.
pays off.
Yeah. Well, and when you get that help, you can always turn it down after the fact, or, if you want to adjust some things, you don't have to stick with it.
100%. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I know it was like a bit of an all over.
No, it was fun. That was super fun.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. I love your show. I listened to the last episode with
Oh,
a woman who owns the winery.
the winery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I actually was just in Charlottesville. I went to UVA also,
Oh,
which is funny. It's such a small world. I don't know her personally, but I was just in Charlottesville in April. And so
oh
I was like, oh
gosh.
my gosh, what a funny small world. But yeah, I love Charlottesville.
That is fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
cool.
great. What a cool story.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Thursday, tomorrow, Emily Hodson, the winemaker at Veritas and Mary Mill, is going to be on. So yeah, she
So
was amazing.
wow. Okay, I'm excited to listen to that. Well, yeah, I like, Charlottesville is so close to my heart, and that really
Yeah,
fun. The Virginia wine country is like popping off. So,
I can't wait to see it.
oh, congrats. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you. Thanks so much for everything, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Have a great day. Thank you again, Patty. Nice to
Yeah,
meet
you
you.
too. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of Penny for Your Shots. If you loved today's conversation, don't let the inspiration stop here. Get my weekly insider updates straight to your inbox. It's where I spill behind the scenes goodies, exclusive tips, and all the fun stuff I don't always share on the podcast. Sign up now at pennyforyourshots.com/insider. I'll see you in your inbox next Thirsty Thursday. Cheers!